Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about nodulation assessment in soybeans and pulse crops. The importance of assessing nodulation is to ensure that your inoculant was applied effectively and to ensure your crop is fixing nitrogen to help you achieve your yield goals. You can see nodules appear around 14 days after emergence, but all this kind of depends on a few factors like drought, flooding, residual nitrogen already in your field. Where you're going to see most of your nodules and have the most nitrogen fixing is in the mid-flowering stage. When you're checking nodules, you want to be sure to pull plants out of the ground very carefully. If you just rip the plants out of the ground, you run the risk of losing nodules and tearing off roots. Try to carve around the plants when you're pulling them out. So work around the root system and then kind of pull the dirt with the roots and the plant all out at once. Let some of the dirt fall off and then put the plant right in the water. How long this is going to take and how difficult this will be will kind of depend on what soil type you have. So there are 4 things I want to go through when you're actually doing your nodule assessment. The first thing is plant growth and vigor. You're going to want to look for green, well-growing plants. If you're seeing a lot of yellowing throughout your field, it could potentially be a product of low nitrogen. With that said, there's a period in the early stage where the plants go from using nitrogen in the soil to fixing their own. There's potential to see some yellowing in that stage, and that's completely normal. If you do see that yellowing, take a couple days or a week, come back and reassess the situation. The second thing is the amount of nodules. On a plant in the V2 or V3 stage, you're going to want to see around 5 or more nodules generally. With peas, you'd want to look for between 3 and 5 clusters as opposed to single nodules. The amount of nodules isn't the main thing to look at. You can have larger nodules doing as much work as a lot of small nodules. If you come back later on around early or mid-flowering, you're going to see those nodules larger and you'll likely see more of them. The third thing to look at when you're assessing your nodules is the color. You're going to want to break a few open or cut a few open, and if you see a red to pink color inside, you know your nodules are fixing nitrogen. If they're white or green on the inside, they're likely not doing their job. The fourth thing is the position of the nodules on your plant. On-seed inoculants provide more nodules on the crown and main root, as opposed to in-furrow inoculants that'll have more nodules on your secondary roots. Generally speaking, your nodules on your main root or your crown root are going to be more effective than ones in your secondary roots. Try to take plants from throughout the field and avoid heavily trafficked areas and headlands. And lastly, if you are seeing your nodulation is less than ideal, contact your retail, get them to help you assess the situation and decide whether or not you need to do a nitrogen application. For more information on nodulation assessment, you can visit brettyoung.ca.